person's a muted autumn. This person's a muted summer. And this person rests exactly between the autumn and summer palettes, so she is known as a true muted. All of the people that just passed by your screen have medium to deep brown hair color in their post-puberty years. That is the typical hair color seen in the muted autumn, muted summer, and true muted palettes. The muted palette rests between autumn and summer, so each of the people who pass by your screen have both autumn and summer coloring qualities in their coloring. How was this person determined to be a muted autumn? Her natural coloring was isolated and color analysis process was done on her. In step 1 of color analysis, cool versus warm, the warm colors were better. In step 2 of color analysis, when looking at the home seasons, autumn was better, but it was noted that summer wasn't bad on her. And in the last step of color analysis, muted autumn ended up being better. And again, the muted autumn palette has summer qualities in it because that is the palette that rests between autumn and summer. How was this person determined to be a muted summer? She dressed up like this. Her natural coloring was isolated. And in step 1 of color analysis, when cool versus warm was looked at, the cool colors were better. In step 2 of color analysis, when home seasons were looked at, summer was best, but it was noted that autumn wasn't bad. And in the last step of color analysis, she ended up being a muted summer. And again, a muted summer would also have autumn coloring qualities in their skin. How was this person determined to be a true muted? Her natural coloring was isolated. In step 1 of color analysis, it was a really close call between cool and warm. And then when we looked at the second step of color analysis, where home season was looked at, it was too tough a call to make the decision between autumn and summer on her. They were equally best. And that means when we looked at the flow palette that rests between autumn and summer, which is muted, the muted palette ultimately was the one that added the maximum vibrancy to her. So that's how she is a true muted. She has a fully neutral undertone. The muted summer would have a neutral cool undertone, and the muted autumn would have a neutral warm undertone. Hopefully this helps you find out more about the muted palette.